Hello. As outlined in the attached introduction, I have identified the need to develop a standardized procedure on our unit that will serve to acclimatize internationally trained nurses, or ITNs, to the Canadian context of nursing and address the frustrations that have arisen among the domestic or staff nurses. Using the Emancipatory framework for change, informed by transformational leadership principles, as an informal nurse leader, I can be a powerful agent for change as I seek to cultivate a safe environment conducive to inclusive communication, learning, and growth. In the text, Hill et al. Outline the emancipatory framework to bring about change. Their work is supported by Chin and Falk Raphael's Ways of Peace and Power. Together, they emphasize the following guiding principles that inform the steps of the emancipatory framework. According to Hill et al. And Chin and Falk, it is these foundational principles that make the emancipatory framework for change uniquely designed to generate maximum involvement and address power imbalances that have resulted from the discord among the staff, thereby tackling the negative and toxic behaviors that are occurring. The three guiding principles they discuss that will be foundational to any change exercise on my unit are creating collaborative relationships, engaging in critical dialogue, and practicing reflection in action. Firstly, creating collaborative relationships. I know that the staff nurses are talking to each other about the issue, and I suspect that the ITNs are also talking amongst themselves about them as well. The challenge becomes, how do I get these two groups to talk with each other about the issue? The foundational work of relationship building within the emancipatory framework will allow for what Flaubert et al. Call safe spaces in which essential critical dialogue and reflection can occur in a manner that fosters inclusion. As we talk together, this is where respect is born. We discover, acknowledge, and accept previous experience and knowledge through relationships, familiarity, and emerging trust. This will have the further benefit of including the transformational exercise as discussed by McCabe to shift the focus from the deficits of the current situation towards the strengths of the individuals and team to collectively move towards aspirational solutions. In our safe spaces, we can also identify and compare challenges, perspectives, realities, and assumptions. Occasion for this communication and relationship building will occur initially in a series of informal yet purposeful individual and small group conversations with ITNs and staff nurses. These conversations will occur on each shift, allowing for maximum access, inclusion, and exposure. While serving to build relationships, these interactions will also help to identify other nurses that will ally to act as change agents on their teams. Efforts will be made to include the manager, clinical nurse educator, patients, and physicians in these foundational conversations. The willingness and capacity of all stakeholders will be enhanced as they feel connected to the rest of the group and supported as experiences, values, and goals are shared. These conversations will be followed by unit council and general staff meetings to allow for expanded relationship building and framing of the issue. However, even after these efforts, there may still be some who feel that they do not have a voice. An invitation to meet privately away from the workplace could be broadly extended to all staff through the unit newsletter or an email, thus allowing those who may feel reluctant to share in other venues with an opportunity to share in a more discreet and intimate space. The initial provision of this tailored, safe approach will hopefully empower all staff to fully participate in the change activities. The second guiding principle is engage in critical dialogue. During the conversation and small group stage, the intent of engaging in critical dialogue is to gather baseline information, stimulate reflection on current practice, and encourage the articulation of desired action and practice. To further the change progression, the group needs to come together and, as Hills et al. And Chin and Falk Raphael emphasize, to engage with each other in authentic listening, critical questioning, and critical thinking to facilitate communication that will mitigate power imbalances and allow all to have a voice in the process. Brainstorming, discussion, and the introduction of common themes identified from the previous conversations will be instrumental in generating maximum participation and inclusion from the team. Meeting together in such a manner serves also to disperse leadership responsibility and the ownership of the reflective exercises generated solutions, and implemented outcomes. Emphasis will be placed on the security of the space to ask and answer difficult questions, illuminate challenges, and creatively explore solutions. Flaubert et al. Reported that acceptance of team diversity increased as leaders intentionally cultivate safe, inclusive, and supportive space. The final guiding principle set forth by Hill et al. And Chin and Falk Raphael is to mindfully practice reflection and action. This is the synthesis of experience, theory, reflection, and action to create wisdom. Reflection and action should become a state of being that allows the whole emancipatory process to become enacted in practice, creating an environment that encourages the staff nurses and the ITNs to engage with each other in relational ways should create an environment that is increasingly inclusive and intolerant of power imbalances and exclusionary activity. This will help ensure that all voices at the table can be heard respectfully, thus allowing for the development of effective solutions that can be implemented with purposeful collaboration. It will also help initiate a positive reinforcement loop of growth and practice and unity on the unit. The principles discussed above will guide the team through the 6 phases of the Emancipatory Change Framework, which are outlined by Hills et al. As Phase 1, Initiation. Here, we identify and clarify the issues and definitions, values, and goals that were discovered in conversations in small groups, unit councils, and staff meetings. All stakeholders are involved. Phase 2, Reflection and Planning. This occurs in unit council and staff meetings to develop an articulated purpose and goals. Also, a plan for implementation and standards for evaluation are developed here. We also identify research and existing knowledge on current practice, shared goals, and potential outcomes. It is also here that consensus is reached. 3, the third phase is the action phase, working as a team. We use the developed plan for unit orientation. We use the rubric for evaluation and that is given to mentors and orientees, stressing ongoing collaboration and communication, we also include the observation and monitoring of the impact and of the changes. The 4th phase is critiquing or analyzing, reflecting, and planning. In this stage, we analyze the evaluation results, engage in further discussion with team members. We recognize those acting to implement the changes and amend plans to address identified gaps and needs. The 5th phase is the follow-up action, or as I like to call it, the rinse and repeat. Here we implement the amendments and we continue to monitor, gathering further information. This 5th phase leads to phase 6, which is subsequent iterative cycles. I love this aspect of the Emancipatory Framework for Change. It embodies the ideal that we are always learning and growing, allowing a safe space for experiential learning, which nurtures an environment of innovation and growth. To successfully use the Emancipatory Change Framework, the leadership principles embodied in transformational leadership are essential. The same principles of transformational leadership that motivate and inspire are inherent in the Emancipatory Framework practice. Fostering collaboration, individual empowerment, respect, dispersion of leadership, dignity, active listening, critical questioning, and reflection. Iqbal et al. Link these motivational and inspirational attributes of transformational leadership with increased productivity, job satisfaction, collaboration, and peer support. These are the tangible and intangible outcomes that will create environments conducive to positive change and allow all team members to set and achieve goals. As a transformational leader, I would, as Cardiff et al. Suggests, be continuously engaged in the iterative emancipatory process, modeling authentic and active listening behaviors, facilitating communication between all parties, ensuring all feel that they are being heard in respectful ways, and act to distill and disseminate gathered information, thereby cultivating safe, inclusive space for all to reflect and contribute. By these defining attributes, transformational leadership embraces and promotes diversity and inclusion. Thank you.